And everyone, I'm really glad to see each of you. Hope that you registered and joined us today with the CC representative. So we can hear you and even can see you. Hi. If you do allow me, I will be, I'll use Russian. I'll be a little bit slower. The Ukrainian, I represent the CC organization, which is the internet registrator in our region, 76th day. We want this only to become a starting point for them. We want them to continue interacting with internet governance and interacting with internet actors when it comes to internet functioning, because internet mostly is governed. I'm almost done. I really want to underline word. Yes, I think we cannot even present it in a better way than we did, because really, we really would like not just to tell about something, motivate young people, motivate youth to be active participants of the whole process. Simply to understand that this is not something complicated, this is not something from outer space, it's not something unclear.
By all the geographical regions of Ukraine. In order to coordinate it, such organizations as UN need to be involved. At the lower level, there are local and regional forums, regional organizations which control it. For the wish, you have the opportunity to take part in the join the efforts to get acquainted with the very basics of the internet governance process, and then to take part in current projects. And believe me, this was my way. I was working at this organization before, and then I became an integral part of this organization. So it opens new exciting opportunities, because the internet is much wider than our forum. I would like to tell you that you have access to the chat box. If during presentations of our speakers you will have comments, or you would like to ask a question, or you disagree with a subject, discuss that right now. I would like to give the floor to legislation. There are some exceptions about the access to information when it comes to security of the state, but there are also limitations of these rights. There are limitations when it comes to offline rights and online rights.
And results are not very nice, satisfactory, because they don't have access to this internet. Sorry, there's no sound. I think, well, if you get me right now, I think we have some technical issues right now. I have some problems. I think, well, we will try to. So, Ida, are you there? Are you actually listening to us? Is it possible maybe to enter again or something. This is something we're talking about. This is a good example of what we're discussing. But unfortunately, not always we have this possible that is not interrupted like this. But okay, so it's very, very important because all our movements, any of our actions, especially young people, people who actually study remotely, lockdown, everyone are trying to stay closer to their homes. In order to have this remote education, you actually need to have technical capacity for it. So I can shouldn't have already. Very nice picture anyway. Thank you for at least having the nice picture. If it doesn't work well, we'll try to pass forward to following speaker and we'll return to your speech, return to your block. A little bit later, maybe you just need to re-enter. If it doesn't work well, I think you need to re-enter. You don't have access to microphones or just listening to us. That's a little bit sad. So maybe try to re-enter and give yourself a speaking. Oh, okay, this is a very good illustration. It's a very good example of how it happened on the internet. It was coverage and such distant territorial locations. I think this is access, and I guess this is what people and the last point you mentioned the following, right? So, we have a lot of violations and participant rules. What do they really stand for? A DOMA is an application that allows Ukrainian strength to trace, to trace, actually those people who have COVID-19 active status, whether they are self-isolated or not. And we also information check to fraud, and they do as they own very well because there is no proper legislative background for this application. So, that we had a draft law was adopted. Concept of person. Just in context of what our built because so somehow trying to talk and the isolation of people. This is what and it's still intrusion on personal life of person violation of not just necessary but personal personality and their chance to feel. If you consider that someone was really why actually our body for what exactly and how they don't and how it's things they act we have that information actually published on their website with some of the steps and I granted tests for infected with COVID actually they did not detect the things but I'm sorry sometimes they actually will be addressed on the streets, you know, it's very, very no one understood that was passport and because all people started looking at each other they were so concerned. Think about it. It was
There is one more rule which became very important. Our participants didn't tell about that, but it is important to say that very few people confronted this violation. Responded to the objective that the state has. For example, if this information shall be checked whether the person is self-isolated, it can be used. But as for the information about your health, about the fact that you might have COVID, this information might be available only to some institutions, and if it is spread everywhere, it will be too much. Unfortunately, right now our app DIA doesn't give a clear answer on whether the access to all the to full information that is put into this app by doctors is limited, and whether it is protected from violations or illegal access to such data. I see comments in the chat. There are questions. What can you do if some internet site doesn't provide access without your personal information to be able to use the basic services of Facebook, of this social network? You must have the opportunity to read the private corporation activities. So this question is quite complicated. If you want to use Facebook, you have to compromise. As any free platform, it can articles which are related to the illegal intrusion into computing machines, and there are it might even lead to prison sentences. There is also article number 182 about intrusion to private life of human beings, and there is a serious criminal responsibility. This is exactly what we're talking about. There are some difficulties when using such actions, because you need to have a lot of relevant technical expertise to understand who intruded into your private information.
Also, I'm trying to share a presentation.
Я намагаюся вивести на екран вашу презентацію. Одну хвилинку. А зараз я хочу подякувати вам за можливість взяти участь у цьому форумі. Для мене надзвичайно велика честь поділитися з вами моїми знаннями. Я спостерігала за усіма заявами уряду, і я хочу поділитися з вами кількома статтями, кількома лінками про те, як уряд слідкує за нашою діяльністю, як уряд порушує права громадян, наприклад, яким чином уряд відстежує громадян і таке інше. Але моя презентація стосується корпоративного використання інтернету, стосується того, як корпорації, такі як Google, Яндекс та інші, використовують інтернет. І що за цим усім стоїть? Поки презентація виводиться на екран, і вони намагаються зробити це якнайкраще, щоб надавати вам якнайкращі послуги. І ми, звісно, їм за це вдячні. Дуже дякую, це все дуже чудово, але ж що стоїть за усім цим, за усіма цими послугами? І це саме те, що показала пандемія ковіду. Ми бачимо, що ці додатки роблять втрати ваші дії, ваші думки. І тому важко уявити, скільки всього, скільки інформації про вас можуть отримати ці компанії. Отже, яким чином компанії справляються з усім цим? Перейдемо до наступного слайду. Я хочу звернути вашу увагу на ініціативи. Просто подивіться на цю табличку.
Просто подивіться, наскільки активні люди в різних країнах, так, ми бачимо. Отже, тут, що ви позначені на графіку, бачите, COVID-19, Mobility. Просто побачите і свої дані, слідкування, не знаю, з січня, можливо, зараз все зафіксовано. Ви тут бачите базову лінію, вона в нас є посередині, і зміну руху, зміну активних цифрових рекомендацій, однак ціна за їхні рекомендації, що ж, чи взагалі це релевантно, чи немає сенсу, це пропорційно, що ми даємо згоду, взагалі, щоб нас відслідковували. Ну, якщо найкращий маршрут у нас, і це питання, на яке треба відповідати самостійно нам всім. Чи про те, як взаємодія вибудовуватися за допомогою цих стосунків, це питання, на яке треба відповісти. І, власне, на так розробляти ці рішення, ці відповіді і передавати їх уряду. Тут який є момент ще цікавий? Ну, не втрачати ці можливості, звісно, бо інакше... Але з іншого боку, ми все одно можемо стати занадто залежними від цих застосунків. Розумієте, ніхто від них не має відмовлятися, але тим не менше треба в рабство йти фактично, так, до цифрових технологій. Останній слайд. Один нас буде, щоб застосунок мотивацію відслідкував, щоб ми вірили людям чи ні. Звичайно, нашу мотивацію пробують відслідкувати, якось зафіксувати, нашу надійність фактично, мова йде про це. Відкритість і так далі. Але це не є добре. Ця тенденція, те, що зараз відбувається у світі, що такі соціальні рухи навіть вже активні, наприклад, проти 5G технології. Дуже сумнівні в них фінали, звісно, і програма, але тим не менше, вони проти того, що використовувати смартфони, ну в них такі стандартні телефони мобільні, без під'єднання до інтернету, вони вводять, власне, що це небезпечно до інтернету. І наступний слайд. Що хочу сказати наостанок. Отже, яке питання в нас людства зараз? Як переконатися, і так наші навіть часто навіть відкривати таких інструментів. Дякую. Це дійсно дуже важливо і добре, що ви про це згадали. Так, розпізнання обличчя сьогодні і те, що роблять компанії, з того, що я знаю. Тому що зараз оперативної структури це оцінюю, тому що я думала...
Так, дійсно, це дійсно цікава точка зору. І знаєте, ми живемо в такому світі, можна так сказати, визначати наше майбутнє. Тобто не лише чекати, що запропонують нам Apple чи інші корпорації, що вони презентують нам, чи ми не мусимо чекати на нові закони від уряду. Це наша задача, наша ініціатива як громадянського суспільства, наприклад, у споживчих товарах. Вони відслідковують, наприклад, як ми обираємо зубну пасту, обираємо ми її чи ні. З точки зору майбутнього, я переконана, що ми будемо визначати це майбутнє. Наприклад, після конференції. Дуже дякую, Юлія. Ми дійсно... This is a topic that is not widely discussed right now. Have a little rest. So I'll see you in 5 minutes here, and we will continue our discussion, our forum.
Друзі, ми продовжуємо. Будь ласка, якщо мене чути і ви бачите добре чат, так будемо розуміти, чи до нас чудово. Крім того, я хотіла нагадати, якщо у вас є питання до того чи іншого спікеру, будь ласка, напишіть або в чат, або напишіть на той емейл, які на ту електронну пошту, з якої ви сьогодні отримали і вчора інформацію стосовно підключення. Ми обов'язково зробимо всі ваші питання по відповідному спікеру, і відповідно після того ми інформацію з вашими питаннями і відповідами спікерів. Таким чином ми зможемо продовжити такі комунікацію між нами. І захочу кожного з вас брати участь в питання і висловлювати свої думки, щоб всі дійсно чули наш голос молоді. Отже, продовжуємо. На даний момент я хотіла б представити нашу наступну спікеру. Це Анастасія Ткачук. Анастасія вже третій форум нагадує своєму виступом. Анастасія також бере вже в принципі в житті молоді. Минулого року вона розповідала на форумі блокчейну і як він впливає на нас, як він пов'язаний з нашим життям. Я думаю, що і цього року тема буде не менш цікавою. Якщо ви мене чуєте, і будемо починати ваш виступ.
So I think we're ready to pass the floor to you. Okay?
Привіт.
Hi everyone.
Давайте знайомитись.
Let's meet each other.
Я думаю, вже так зустрічалися одного разу. Я розповідала про блокчейн-технології.
Technology.
Сподіваюсь, мене добре чути, якщо ні, пишіть.
You
Говорити
know well,
сьогодні коротко, швидко, тому що в мене є ще одна конференція, більш
I have another conference.
вам сьогодні буде такий контент.
I will be a little bit more entertaining.
Ринок віртуальних валют в Україні, про його початок, як збирається регулювати, і пояснити, як розумно почати їм користуватися, але не потрапити на
Start using it. So how to
коли зустрічалися. Я ще говорила, я згадувала про деякі
music.
So you now have the excellent opportunity to share this information with us or ask your questions to the experts. If it's not comfortable for you to turn on the mic, please write your questions or your stories in the chat, and we will read them aloud later. And now I see that we have Anastasia back. Nastya, please try to say us something so we can check whether we can hear you. Can you hear me well? Is it okay now? Yes, now everything is fine. We can hear you. Please write in the chat whether you hear Nastya. So just great, Nastya, please. The floor is yours. Okay, let me describe the situation once again. When a person starts working with accounts on cryptocurrencies, exchanges, they need to verify the account because a lot of people confront these problems. Scammers know this and they use the situation. I've also told you that with card data, it is very necessary to behave very importantly. As for the websites of silent purchase, if we can share this information online, then it can be used by other people. We shall also protect our personal data, such as login and password. We don't need to share photos with our passport data, with our driver's license data. People don't think about it usually. I'm not talking about sharing this information online. For example, if a person writes to your representative or company that you trust and you send a photo of your passport, so the account is created quickly and you can use the platform. And it is a problem because the market of cryptocurrencies is regulated as any other financial corporation. It is regulated by international laws such as law or the money laundering law, anti-money laundering law. It is also stipulated in the draft law on virtual assets in Ukraine. It is also written in the Chapter 3, Paragraph 2, about participants of the market of cryptocurrencies. It is written that during operations with crypto assets, players in the market shall stick to this rule. The anti-money laundering law is an international law. It has 5 directives, according to which financial institutions of any type, banks, international institutions, and any other payment systems have to follow all operations of their clients to prevent and to be sure that they don't take part in terrorism, in financing arms trafficking, or money laundering in any way. When the head of the cryptocurrency exchange or head of the bank sees suspicious activity on your account, they tells about it to you and asks you for documentation. As usual, cryptocurrency exchanges ask to provide a photo with a card to prove the source of your income. They simply still they may ask you a photo with a passport. If there is suspicious activity on your account, you can send a photo with your passport via chats, via different communication platforms, and this information can be easily used by other people. So don't do that. When you start using a platform, cryptocurrency exchange or any other platform of sell and purchase of goods and services, or if it is a popular platform with free courses for students, never share your or information in unofficial channels of communication. You can find official channels of communication where you can check whether you can be asked such data. You can ask official representatives whether such a person works at the company. Don't hesitate to verify this information. So when you start working with different platforms, don't share your information everywhere. It's easy to understand, isn't it? As for the activities in the cryptocurrency sphere, it is similar to big investors' activities. When there is a new currency, and now it is easy to do, when there is a new currency, it is suggested to use real money, hryvnias or dollars, to buy currency which is new to the market, and they promise that it will the price of this currency will increase and you will get money later. This scheme is normal, it's not illegal. It is popular now because blockchain technologies are now very well developed. So you can create your own cryptocurrency using a code. You need to add several technical details, and you will have your own currency. But actors use these. Unfortunately, they create a currency which is not needed on the market, or they create a fake currency which doesn't exist at all. And here we can back to our draft law, which stipulates that every market player has to get acquainted with also technical peculiarities of virtual currency and virtual markets. Big investors often fall into this trap of initial coin offerings. So this is before the offering of a new currency. They invest their money, and then it turns out that this currency doesn't exist at all, and nobody will give you the money back. You always have to check this project, its practical significance on the market, and to check if it is real. There shall be a white paper documentation. Anastasia, we no longer hear you, unfortunately. Please write in the chat if you hear us. Can you hear me? Yes. Unfortunately, I have to run to another conference, so let me wrap up. So if you're interested, in Ukraine, we are financed by an association that takes part in all activities related to blockchain and to cryptocurrencies. You can visit their websites. There are lots of useful articles and materials there. They have their own blockchain school where they teach students to develop their own blockchain networks. They taken active part in developing this draft law of Ukraine on virtual assets, and they offer a lot of free conferences online in Kyiv and international conferences related to blockchain technologies. So please, if you have any questions, please write down in the chat or write to Lera, and I will be happy to answer in written form. Anastasia, thanks so much for the information. Unfortunately, because of the technical difficulties, we had several problems. I will ask you to share your presentation. Can you hear me well? Yes, we do. So this is the third time that I take part in this Internet Governance Forum. This is an exciting and very instructive event. Today I would like to share with you results of a survey of a research on cybersecurity from Ukraine's youth point of view. Just a second, I need to upload my presentation. If you need any help, please tell me. I will help you with the presentation and I will share it on the screen. Okay?
Okay. So I'm trying to upload the presentation. So we had this research launched by the European Media Platform Organization. And the aim of this research was actually to determine the most popular, most widespread cyber threats teenagers to face, separate from whether the teens have actually tools to counteract these threats. So, research. So, on the presentation, I'm putting it. Oh, I don't see it. We actually can see it to write to the chat presentation if you can clearly see it. It's actually uploading it. We can see it. You can switch back and forth because I don't see the presentation. Sorry. So I will go with the plan, stick to the agenda, and try to up. So we had 3 stages. So questionnaires, 17. So we have deep online course on cybersecurity. So research day of the participants of the webinar. We also have the total number of participants, approximately 1,000. Even recognize or understand that they have become victims of certain threats. They participants processes that they were suffering from it, so they simply forget it. Also, the most widespread respiratory viruses, I would say, widespread, we can say, actual proper and careful way. Just ensure your safety. And also, in separate cases, respondents, their computer were used to mine the Bitcoin. Cyber terrorism, as well. These are very serious problems, and young people actually suffered from this, not for any help, any support. Actually, did not ask for any help, and we, of course, fewer, 36% of teachers, they did not ask anyone for help. Almost half of people, they told that seriously as it should be. And those who asked for help, they, in affected cases, but actually, people were not happening were actually to avoid the cases in future. And people take the alternative way of communication. So, I mean, the citizens there, the government, private organizations, companies, law enforcement, and all should actions of society and first involve youth. We need to have a multi-dimensional approach here. Actually, put there a Facebook page or like information about this organization help you if something happens, if you find yourself in this kind of in this specific situation, if you do, and they must be supported by experts. Doing their efforts to what they should themselves. Uh, so I can actually finish the results of this. Very, very only not enough is done to improve the situation. We need so actually what I see to this event.
This was a very interesting event, and let me draw your attention to those problems that we confront every day. Ilya, thank you so much for your presentation. Such research is very excellent, and it seems to me that this is the topic that we could discuss right now. Dear participants, maybe you have any questions, maybe you would like to share your experience. Is there really such a problem for us, for each of you, that you feel yourself insecure, that you feel that you lack information provided, or maybe you wanted to take part in information campaign? So in your opinion, what is needed to be done so you can feel more protected? And I can ask the same question to Ilya. How do you think, what in your opinion is the priority to raise awareness in relation to cybersecurity, especially for young people? What have we to do to make it more developed, to feel more secure and confident? In my opinion, what we lack now is is interest from the point of view of the youth. We need to explain them why it is important. We need to understand why they need to be interested in it, why it is serious, and why it might be a serious problem for them personally. If you are not educated in a question, if you don't know how things work, then of course you need to understand how to do that. And if you cannot do it on your own, if it is difficult or complicated for you to understand how to be, all of these needs to be, we need to talk about all of it. We need to raise awareness, we need to follow the developments, we need to follow the new forums shall be held, groups shall be created, and so on and so forth. So in your opinion, for our participants, we will be happy if you share your experience as well. In your opinion, who is responsible for this process? Shall it be the initiative of the users, or maybe shall it be the key task implemented by the state authorities, or NGOs, civil society organizations, representative of the business and private sector? How do you think for countering cyber that we can use all that surrounds us? Because we have representatives of student community, you can share, you can use your internal resources of your university, for example. If you don't have a group that is ready to spread information, and we hope that we would like you to continue the topic that you started to discuss. I also see a comment that the state doesn't only have to fight cybercrime, will feel well. Yes, thank you so much. It was a short comment. What I wanted to say is that the state shall not only respond to cyber attacks that have happened already, or investigate them, or prevent them, but the state shall to assume the responsibility to educate the population that every single person can prevent such crimes from happening and protect their personal data and information, infringement of personal data. And of course, if we are talking about those crimes which are related to hacking of accounts, with getting access to email account, in such cases, you can reach out to the police, so the police investigates such crimes. For example, if you remember, recently there was a Telegram channel which shared personal data of Ukrainians, where you could write and could write into this channel and get all the information you needed. In addition to the open data, in addition, you could get confidential information, which was an obvious infringement of the law. This is a crime that is under the responsibility of the police of Ukraine. Thanks a lot, Vita. Thank you, parents or the scientists. Create something new. Okay, so maybe you had some technical problems. Thank you for actually re-switching back. And other participants as well, we're so glad to have you all here. So we have certain changes in the agenda, unfortunately. Mr. Protopopov is not here with us, he's not connected due to certain problems, certain personal stuff. So unfortunately, we won't have him here today. Right now,
Those who really would like to share some information have this wonderful opportunity as we have some time after. So share some impressions, give your comments, anything. As far as I understand, as far as I remember, someone wanted actually express one's opinions, and we'll have some conclusions after this, and then we'll discuss some technical details and further steps. You sit here, tell me, can you actually connect right now and tell us a little bit about what you want to share? So okay, good, good. We're listening very attentively. If we have this opportunity, if your camera can be turned on, that would be really good, but up to you. So, you're free. And so, how actually to make use of internet more convenient for elderly? For older people, we start using internet more and more, and we actually do. And we have the pandemic, of course, and the modern technology. So it's very well, of course, because internet is a place where we actually move, or we actually search for some information, look for something, watch movies, and read books. For me, it's a place of entertainment, of some leisure, and also of work. Due to the situation that we have today in the world, uh, many educational establishments start using remote format. Many teachers, they stay at home due to this internet becomes more and more significant to all of us. And I think that remote education is really convenient, but basically we don't have this live communication with colleagues, with teachers. Internet, I look for some information I really need to study, or just to find something new, to entertain myself, to communicate with friends, and of course some interesting adventurous videos on YouTube. But our grandmas and grandpas, well, for them it's really hard to understand how it works because they never used to actually do something like that. They never had cell phones, smartphones, or even access to internet. So previously it was like a fairy tale, you know. To people. So we have elderly, those who actually use everything. The internet uses all the news, like Instagram. They even have some active pages there, but quite a limited number of them. And we just need to help the older generation somehow to feel more free in that, because internet is very important today. For example, we can minimize the number of functions in internet. We have to optimize the functions, basic ones, like access to news, for example, access to films and TV shows and soap operas and some messengers, for communication, to have communication with their relatives and friends, and for example, like healthcare facilities. I think that this topic is really important because elderly people are staying mostly at home. They are quite vulnerable. For them, it's really too hard to see their relatives even sometimes. So we need to help them actually to stay on the track. And what can we do to make internet more convenient for our grandmas and grandpas? Well, basically that's it. Thank you for your attention. I have a question. Is it possible for me to go out because I have some things to do, and when I will be able to get the certificate? And thank you so much for your opinion. You can actually, let's see if you do have business elsewhere. Concerning the certificates and information, I'll actually tell you more about this, but if you don't have time right now to say, this information will be then sent again in the letter. You will all receive it through emails to all registered participants. So thank you again for your input, and I truly think that access to internet and digital awareness, digital literacy, it's not only about use today. You know, every person living on this planet should be aware of how to use it. We all must actually do everything to reach this goal, actually, to make all our relatives, even the oldest ones, fully aware of how to use that, because during the pandemic we have so many services dependent internet. Someone else would love to share your impressions, or if you do have certain remarks on these discussions, well, you're absolutely welcome. Please raise your hands, somehow indicate your questions, indicate your interest, and we will definitely discuss this. Thank you. Right now, we don't have actually those who would like to present their opinions. Someone's still considering, and they're just trying to become brave enough to provide remarks. First of all, I'd like to express gratitude to each of you. Thank you for actually joining us. It is very important because always have to stay together. We need to join, do everything for our voice to be heard. Because really want the opinion of young people to be taken into account in decision-making process. It's very important to develop internet and everything related to the internet. And I'm really grateful to all of you. I really want to inform you that all the issues that were raised today, all the messages actually we got during the forum, we will actually send it directly to we call them the adult forum. So you're saying that the more advanced one. And you actually can join this forum as well because the topics will discuss where they're also huge interest in, very important. And you can express your opinion as well there. As you see it, as a representative of younger generation. So also these messages will be transferred to the global forum, global IGF. On November 5, it starts, if I'm not mistaken. So it's an honor for me to actually pass all your messages and opinions that we collect from you, the global community, for them to understand that in Ukraine, we truly have this united power. Also, I'd like to express gratitude to our interpreters. So basically, we don't see them, but they actually are a lot of help. But today, thank you for your work, dedication, and for your support. Also, we have organizers, and I'd like to express our gratitude to the organizers. Mission on Science and IGF Ukrainian Union of Industry and Entrepreneurship, and also organization RMCC and the head of LXA with his welcoming words, and also IGF Supporting Association as well, and the Internet Society. And we'd like to express our gratitude to those organizations for their valuable support, and with their support we actually have the opportunity to participate today. International Civic Organization, European Media Platform, the National Council of Security and Defense of Ukraine, and the Engineering Sciences, and also ICANN, Internet Corporation for names and numbers, and Adam, of course. I'm grateful to all of you. Okay. So, what else? I promised to bring some conclusions here. I can see we have comment on this slide too. It's an important component for each person because it opens a lot of new opportunities as for us to learn. We must teach our grandmas and grandpas, the elderly, on how to use these opportunities. It's truly, this is a very good point, I guess. But we are equal, and we must be and good shoulders from shoulders to support those who are with us, and for those who actually require that help, and our parents, and I guess our relatives need to support.
That by the 28th of November, so during this month, you have the possibility to send to the email your articles so that they would be collected into one collection. And it will be both an electronic version and paper version. So you will have this opportunity because it's a really good one. All the details about the things to have to be shaped, it will be sent after the form. And if you have some additional questions, please send them. We'll try to include them into one file. So one more time, I would like to thank you all a lot. If you have questions, please write them. If there are no questions, then I would like to thank one more time each and everyone who has joined today. And who told us about their experience and cases. As for the continuation, if there are no more people to participate in the discussion, if there are no representatives of the college who are supposed to deliver today, then I guess then we could finish. So with this information, I will provide probably after the forum, but today. I think that during several hours, I will provide this information. So then again, I would like to also say thank you. Thank you all one more time. Valentin Protopov is going to join us. I mentioned him today, and he's going to mention to bring the topic of energy efficiency. Valentin, I can see that you're here. If you're ready to share your presentation with us, I can see you. Good day. If you are ready, I'll be very thankful and to give floor to you. So greetings to all of the participants of today's forum. So we had our force majeure because we were taking care of the autonomous nature of energy system, and together with our students today we planned discussions, and the main topic of our part was to be dedicated to the standalone nature, especially about the internet provision. And so very important, so that COVID-19 epidemics has demonstrated very well. So all the systems, or any systems, they can be effective when they are autonomous, when they're standalone systems and then function properly. Because if they're not, they are to be, you know, left unsupervised without control by the man. When it's about the transfer of data or digital economy in our society. That's why we agree with the opinion that autonomous nature and energy efficiency are interrelated, because when we speak about the autonomous nature and energy efficiency of any systems that are connected with digital communication, we are to understand that the main share of these systems lies in their provision. Safety of a person as a user, because at a certain moment the person cannot support it. As for the server rooms to provide internet, I think that for quite a while they are working on its autonomous nature, but to provide them with this, they are planning to install solar stations, solar power plants with a system of accumulation of energy. That's why I think that today a very important component of any technical equipment or of any system, including systems of data transfer, are to be energy independent and standalone. And I am very convinced on the system of RES is very much needed, because if we install server rooms, if we install control points of networks, then for sure in our today's reality they have to be autonomous. That's why the solar power plant is to be installed, so that any employee because when we speak about the coronavirus epidemiology, we have to know that some working brigade can't fulfill their work, because it has to be why are we still speaking about the autonomous nature of any system? Because it has to be minimum intervention from the point of view of the personnel, and if it doesn't matter if it's COVID-19 or COVID-20, people have to go to work, right? And so they have to go to work they have to travel to work. So, and you know this famous phrase for people who work in the strategic area, I am deeply convinced that these people, they also need protection, and it's also about their rights. And just because they work, it doesn't mean that the people working in the energy sphere, they are to be at stake. It's about communication, internet, and all about other systems. Speaking about Ukraine, it's very, very relevant because we have lockdown, we have coronavirus, everything is limited, the transport is restricted or no transport at all, and we can for a while deal in Ukraine with the you know, such a reality where there will be nothing that we can do about it, and that's an important component. As for youth, I'm deeply convinced that if we understand energy efficiency as a very important part of any digital system or communication system, this understanding we have to put into actions. So our managerial future decisions, technical decisions, our own decisions are very important. And it means, what I mean is choosing the renewable sources of energy. So I was late today. So I hope you will all forgive me that. I hope you have already forgiven that. You know, my students have forgiven because they went to their classes. We planned to have the solar PP installed today, actually, on our roof, but that all requires time. I think inseparable part of designing any system for provision of communication or of server clear research that in 17 years, all 15 nuclear power units, they will stop functioning. And because those that were 12 most powerful existing from the Soviet times, they have to be, you know, they have to be stopped use. And it's very important because it touches all of our system, because in 17 years from now, and most of them by 2029, all the energy balance of the country is going to change. So we will be left off 56% of generation of the electrical energy of Ukraine. Without mentioning that even if one energy unit is going to be out of order, that's like $1 billion. But we have 15 such units. Even if those smaller ones will cost less, but given that the Ukrainian budget today is 38 billion, we have to look for the strategic resource. So today I'm thinking that the arrest is not alternative figuring, but the only possible solution. The example of Germany, 67% of all power generation is renewables. So our communication system also have to be viewed from this point of view. If we want to be equal, if we want to have the possibilities of the Internet of Things or any other ones, any other communication, we have to have the access to internet, and that is energy, but it has to be a renewable energy. If we shall not mention solar generation, then we are to speak about, you know, pumping storage. We are to speak about wind power plants. Even, you know, all those obstacles that can be there, like, you know, birds, or still they're not comparable. So all these details are to be thought about, and we have to, you know, give the possibility to our youth to generate their ideas on this base and on those processes that give us the access to the internet. Today the students had a conversation without me, unfortunately without our listeners, about opportunities the internet grants. Any business startup that emerges today, because any technological startups, they emerge from the use of some technology, but not of the merging of the new technology. I mean, we all know how to make the mobile app for Android and iOS, but these mobile apps are the most rating startups. Some the cabs or taxi or services of delivery services, they existed due to internet, thanks to internet. Imagine for a minute if the internet wasn't provided. What would we all eat during lockdown? Uber wouldn't bring us something. And I mean, don't mean about only the red one, but also the yellow one. Just imagine, how could we be, how would we exist without all of it? So I'm ready to answer any of your questions. I'm ready to have any discussion as for energy efficiency of digital systems. And sorry one more time for all the inconveniences that I was being late for that flight. Thank you so much. I would like to ask a question. You know, I thought that after you said that it's RS is not alternative, but the only way of our development, it's not really like my question, but I have the following thing. Which step do you think we are to take? What do we start with? And who do we involve to make it not the only option, but to make it a successful option, the successful path that we will manage to implement in life? Thank you. You know that youth is our future, and they will be dependent upon our decisions. These are very clear things, okay. But I know that the Ministry of Energy, they already conducted energy audits, but they were doing it with, they know the clear understanding, have clear understanding of power generation and the balance, and there must be clear understanding which objects of infrastructure depend upon nuclear generation the most, and how to provide energy balance. We also have to understand these points and accordingly to build and to use the system of RES. I don't want to mention about play at the market, and everything that we had with the green tariff. That first we had 14 hryvnia, but when the state didn't fulfill its obligations, and the investors who made the investment, we are not going to mention their names. That's a separate topic. But nevertheless, we had these facilities. But then Ukraine says that it's not ready to fulfill its liabilities. Then we have to give 100% guarantees to any investor or to any company who is ready to launch, the RES system. We have to guarantee that we can, protect their rights. And even if we say in the agreement it's going to be 50 cents, then these 50 cents have to remain during all the time that we have, during which our agreement is valid. And then we have to clearly understand and to step by step describe in this region we are to build this megawatt capacity and to provide this amount of energy and so on and so on. So this has to be clearly defined, all these steps, and describe when and which capacities are to be launched. And think about critical infrastructure. So what I mean is providing the main enterprises and to cover to provide everything that concerns our freedom, all the necessary systems.
Well, everything is real. Everything is real. Everything is absolutely real, and it's really good. In Kyiv, we can have renewable energy, and autonomous consumption can be there, and of course the generation for the networks. So I do think that in Kyiv it's really possible, and we need to understand that these systems must be combined, of course, comprehensive, not just solar energy, but also other types of energy, and to ensure the energy balance, proper balance for Kyiv, and actually for the systems. Thank you so much. As far as I understand, in general, basically Ukraine has full capacity, full potential to say no non-renewable energy to nuclear energy and just pick fully just renewable energy. So yes, there are so many solutions, so many solutions. So we're not talking about land plots. We have these floating stations. We can put these in rivers, you know, and the Black Sea and Azov Sea as well, and Equatorium, and wind power stations in those regions where it's not critical. So renewable energy truly it is accessible. It's more efficient. Take for example Poland, our neighbor, and Poland also actively tries to involve these renewable energy policies. 35% of all energy balance renewables, but they don't have so many solar panel stations. They don't have these wonderful geographic conditions. So for Ukraine, this is absolutely possible, 100%. Thank you. Thank you. I do hope that we will use these opportunities at its fullest. And we will develop in all these areas because actually the issues related to energy and environmental, or something related to environmental, this is something that is really, really important for us. And we've had these fires, you know, this year, so many of. So we need to be very careful with the environment, always. This is the resource that we actually require to live, to actually exist on this planet. And we must be very careful with that. Very responsible. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe someone has questions or anything else, remarks, please. You're absolutely welcome. Okay. If we think about the shift to renewable energy, it's so profitable. Why state power is still opposing this shift? Why do we still use fossil fuels? Well, it's clear to everyone. Thank you for this question, but the answer is clear. I think that power is not opposing or resisting there's a huge lobby of those who actually make profit on it. So imagine you have your own business, you have your own nuclear power station, okay, your personal one where you're burning coal or whatever, and you just make your money. And once you just need to build a new object, invest in object, and a lot of movement. So everyone just uses this typical algorithm. Of course, nuclear power stations, we have many of them. It's a huge component in energy balance, but it's a step that we need to take. Many organizations and activists do tell it. Today, we need to clearly understand one thing: the national plan on energy balance. That should be something on the agenda, especially when it comes to nuclear power station freezing. Because up to $1 billion, that's the price. One block only. And this is our safety first. We just need to do it safely. Ensure safety without any consequences. Remember Chernobyl. Not to be in a hurry, because we need to ensure this. And I see it in such a way. Next question, by the way. How the average Ukrainian man may help to ensure this shift? I just want to ask you, in your opinion, we as young people, how we can actually influence this? How can we support our state launch this process and actually to in the same bit? So here, as young people, just do very simple steps. I'm sorry. Well, first step, starting from 2014, we started talking about this energy efficiency. 2014, we launched this conversation. It depends on how much we consume and how rational we consume. The energy balance itself depends on how much do we need to generate for the state. Well, if, let's say, we are used to the, if we have in all our house and anywhere we have the lights on and we don't regulate it, if we just leave some devices on, we just consume limitlessly, and we need another generation limit. When it comes to state recognition, I think, of course, raising awareness, our personal position, or our personal opinion, because the Association of Renewable Energy, they've been talking about this for a long time, and I consider that when we have this law on citizens' power, when we start appointing people or candidates from civic organization, we really want to have this critical mass of pressure on the state. The state will be under this pressure. They will just shift to renewable energy. This must be a request from the society, actually, to the state to ensure this shift. Yes, in our college, we do have programs on renewable energy, comprehensive education, and we provide special knowledge for experts in this area, bachelors. I'm answering another question. If you have a question about the curricula on renewable energy in our colleges, we have these comprehensive curricula and programs related not only to understanding of energy efficiency as it is, but also relevant competencies. So that people individually establish provide services and ensure technical surveillance and maintenance of renewable energy systems. On our website, you have access to these systems. You can actually to these curriculums, and you can actually go there and see what the renewable energy system is. Thank you so much. Because we've already discussed the issue on media literacy and literacy, and we have this wonderful example when we can use open sources and study, learn, be a part of the process, and actually influence this process directly. Thank you. Thank you, Valentin, for this really interesting conversation. I do hope that we will use efficiently our sources, and we will definitely use more renewables to stay more eco-friendly. Okay, good. Thank you so much. And I can see that we have Mr. Ivan joining us right now. Person, we're so grateful to for the opportunity to have this IGF on the proof here with us. Last year, joined us. We're so grateful for the support that you actually provide. I'd like to pass the floor to you. Thank you. I'd like to congratulate our community, our friends, our colleagues, everyone watching this today, and all participants. It was really an interesting conversation. I even had the opportunity to listen to some parts with my phone. Really so interesting. The forum is great. And I'd like actually to invite you to the next forum and actually to keep the discussion on the same level about different projects. For this forum that we have launched every year due to the UN, thanks to the UN mandate, actually to keep it as a platform of opinions, platform for opinion exchange, for exchange of ideas. I think people are the active part. They bring their own charge. And they actually form the future of our world, and we want them to participate actively in it. So thank you for actually being active, staying active, and thank you for taking part in this very important discussion. Thank you, Mr. Ram, for these beautiful words. I'd like to remind you that in the next few days, we'll have the IGF UA forum where different topics will be discussed. We're looking forward to have you there as well. Enjoy. Unique opportunity to become a part of this process. Siobhan, thank you again for technical opportunity for the Ukrainian platform we're able to use. Thank you. Come to the first section tomorrow on informational security. I think it will be really interesting. Thank you. Thank you again. My gratitude to all of you. And if you do have some questions or you really want to express, you again can do it. If not, please send your questions later to our email. After the forum, we will share the results we discussed together. Thank you for actually being a part of this. And I do really encourage you to be part of this process. I can actually give you some clues on how you can continue. It's really interesting for you to be part of our activities. I'm really grateful to you. I really want you to have a nice day, and bye to you all.